He had a zest for life. He wanted to bring out joy in other people. He really liked to joke and kid and make people laugh and smile. And he worked really hard. He felt that the most important value for him was discipline.
So present with anyone he came in contact with, and most, if not all, the people did not know the struggles that he was going through, that his mom and I would experience with him daily.
Anthony Trarero lived in Cardiff by the Sea, California. He was an athlete and a gifted student. He loved fishing, camping, and being with his friends. Anthony seemed to be thriving. But in his freshman year of high school, his parents, Neil and Samara, discovered that he was having suicidal thoughts.
It didn't seem consistent with him at all.
And we certainly didn't think about it in any way related to autism.
Anthony was diagnosed with autism when he was 7 years old. But as a teenager, he wasn't comfortable sharing that with his friends or teachers. It was a part of him he preferred to keep private. There was something important that none of the Trareros understood at the time. Autistic kids and teenagers are far more likely to think about and to die from suicide than are their non-autistic peers. Those who are both autistic and intellectually gifted, as Anthony was, may be at even greater risk. In one 2023 study from the University of Iowa, autistic kids with an IQ of 120 or higher were nearly 6 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts than autistic children with average IQ. But their struggles are often invisible. Many kids like Anthony cope by masking, consciously or unconsciously suppressing their autistic traits in order to fit in at school or in social environments.
Research has shown that it has a detrimental effect on one's mental health, for the exhaustion and for the not being known by anyone. You can be with people all day long masking and go home and know that you've never really talked to anyone as who you are as a person, so nobody really knows you, and it's profoundly lonely.
Jessica Schwartzman of Children's Hospital Los Angeles leads research on autistic kids and suicide. She says several factors make it hard for kids to get the help they need.
And autistic youth have particular thinking styles and have different emotional responses that can make it difficult for them to know how they're feeling or that they might be in a crisis. And then second, how to communicate their distress or ask for help, whether it be from parents, teachers, counselors, or things like that.
Neil and Samara took Anthony's pain seriously, but none of the people or agencies they contacted for help took his autism into account.
When we got to the mental health machine, it wasn't built for his diagnosis. It was built for a one-size-fits-all. It was built for bright lights and confinement, and those are all things that are furthered his challenges.
Nearly 80% of autistic kids also have mental health conditions like depression or anxiety. But when they seek help, they encounter care that is largely designed for people with neurotypical brains.
As many as 80% can have alexithymia, which is this difficulty in first identifying what we feel, and then second, communicating it to others.
On what seemed like an ordinary Sunday in March 2024, Anthony told his parents that he was going for a walk.
And then he said, I'm gonna go get some fresh air. And that was the last conversation we had with him.
Anthony spent 9 weeks in the hospital before dying of his injuries. He was 16 years old. Months later, Neil learned from an acquaintance how common it is for kids like Anthony to struggle with thoughts of suicide. No one he'd contacted for help while Anthony was alive seemed to know that.
I'd never heard a word of this at any point in our life. And she shared the stats, she shared the citations from it, and she shared that so much work is being done. This was the moment that changed everything.
Neil and Samara started the Endurant movement, a nonprofit dedicated to autism and mental health.
We share the story of the loss of our son Anthony, the movement that has grown out of the unimaginable grief, and the legacy we're building so that no teen ever feels this alone or lost again.
They want other families to know the things that they were never told.
And we didn't know to spend time to help him embrace his differences, to lean into his uniqueness. Then he might be able to communicate those things as opposed to the tremendous cost it took to fit in.
If we knew that it was happening as often as it is, if we knew that having the conversation could help, we would have, knowing that that could possibly save someone's life, your child's life, your loved one's life.
When Neil and Samara look back on Anthony's life, they are proud of the young man he was and how many lives he touched in a short time.
What his friends tell us that he instilled in them is that they matter. I think that he would want every teen to know that they matter.
And that they're not alone. And that if you have those feelings, if you want to end your life, that there is help. That you can reach out, and that other people want to help you, and that you do matter, and that your life is worthwhile.